Souledge Ivy here, coming at you with Rage Gaming. Today's going to be a little bit of a different video. Bungie's supposed to be implementing a collection system, meaning weapons in your vault will be in the collections once Year 2 of D2 launches. I don't know about you guys, but I currently have the vault, my characters, and the Postmaster overfilled with weapons. So I decided I needed to clean things out. I know we get 200 extra vault spaces, but that'll fill up quickly with Forsaken armor and weapons. And since whatever I have for Year 2 goes into collections, I might as well only keep the good stuff. I thought of different ways to sort it out for a while now, and I've decided that the best way to do it was to separate it out into collections. The first collection I am doing today is all of the EDZ weapons that I have, so if there's anyone that I don't have, if I end up getting them, I'll do a part 2, but since I don't have them, I'm not going to have them in this video, so it's only the ones that I do have. I'm going to go over the perks and the pros and cons and decide what I will like to keep and get rid of all the weapons that I don't want to keep. All weapons I keep will be put into basically I want to do another video afterwards, later on, after I go through all the weapons that I am keeping and decide how I'm going to start them out, and I'm going to put them basically against each other to keep only the best of the best that I definitely want to keep and know I'm going to use. And I'm going to keep doing these videos where they get to go against each other until I've gotten enough down that I can feel satisfied that my vault is pretty cleaned out. And just a disclaimer, I'm not telling you to keep or get rid of any of these weapons that I'm talking about. This is just my personal opinion and the things I personally did or didn't like. Not everybody's playstyle is the same. I prefer a slow firing weapon with high impact paired with a faster firing weapon, and I prefer my power weapons to be very powerful. So I perfectly understand that if you can use this weapon, you have a lot of skill and everything. This is just weapons that don't work for me, and I don't want to irritate anyone by making them think that they have to like them or don't have to like them or whatever. You know, anything that I say, this is just for me personally. So the first weapon that I'm starting with is Flash and Thunder, and the perks for that are lightweight frame, linear compensator, quick launch, hard launch, blinding grenades, concussion grenades, and field prep. And field prep has increased ammo reserves, faster reload when crouch. For this weapon, I personally didn't crouch, so I don't know how well that actually works. But I'm not typically a croucher when I'm using a heavy weapon. I'm kind of more of getting up in enemies' faces and everything like that. So I kind of felt like it was pointless for me to be crouching anyways. So I am just going to go over the pros and cons and things I didn't like and did like about Flash and Thunder. Now, Flash and Thunder is a grenade launcher for the EDZ collection, and the first time I ever used it, I really did not like this weapon. The one thing I definitely did not like was that it only has one shot. After playing Destiny for a while and becoming more skilled, I decided that this weapon is alright, and it's a pretty decent weapon overall. It has decent damage. The concussion grenade perk is the better one to use. It greatly increases the blast radius. The first and last scopes are my favorites for this weapon. The only thing I had an issue with is that if you put it on the blinding grenades, you have a very, very low blast radius, and you can end up blinding yourself if you're not careful. And I also didn't like that when it bounces off from things, it's harder to kill enemies. Like, there's not a big, huge area of effect where you can hit near it and it's going to explode and kill the enemy. And I mean, it is a grenade launcher, but it's just not something I would pick over something else. Overall, though, this weapon was pretty decent, and I will be keeping it for now and putting it against other weapons because it was not so bad that I feel like if it was the only one in the game, I would get rid of it. I would probably still use it if it was the only one in the game. So that is why I'm keeping it. The next weapon that I wanted to talk about was Scathlock. Okay, so the perks for Scathlock, there is Adaptive Frame, IS-5 Circle, Model 8 Red, Mark 10 Glass, High Caliber Rounds, Tactical Rounds, and the special perk for the Scathlock is Under Pressure, which increases the stability and the accuracy as the magazine gets lower. This, I personally didn't notice anything different about this weapon, but I didn't hate this weapon either. It seems like a normal auto rifle and everything. It's definitely not a bad auto rifle at any way, shape, or form. I actually personally use this one a lot. It's just that I have so many auto rifles, it's kind of made me question whether or not it's worth keeping. The tactical mag increases the ammo from 42 to 45, and there wasn't really much of a difference from the second scope overall, and the third scope is best and it helps with accuracy. And it's not that it guarantees accuracy, it's just that because of the way the scope is, it made it easier for me to be able to narrow down on a precision kill for the enemy that I was shooting at. So overall, like I said, this weapon's neither good nor bad. It's not exceptional, but it's definitely something I've used many times and I do like using. So right now it's going to stay in my collection, and I will later on pit it against other auto rifles and decide whether or not it's worth keeping as opposed to other auto rifles in the game, depending on how many auto rifles I do end up with once I am done with all of this. The next weapon that I wanted to talk about was Hawthorne's Field Forged Shotgun. The perks for this weapon include lightweight frame, rifled barrel, smooth bore, tactical mag, assault mag, and full auto trigger system, which means that when the gun trigger is being held down, the weapon will go into full auto. The downfall of this gun is that it definitely has really bad recoil, but the gun is full auto, and the assault mag perk does make it slightly better. The smooth bore perk was definitely one of my favorites and helped a lot because it definitely adds range to a shotgun. So overall, I'm definitely keeping this weapon. There are very few full auto shotguns in the game, this being one of them, and it's definitely a weapon I really do feel is a strong, no matter what you use it with, so it's definitely a weapon I'm going to be keeping. The next weapon that I wanted to talk about was the Complex Solution Sword. The perks on this weapon have Adaptive Frame, Tempered Edge, Hungry Edge, Enduring Guard, Balanced Guard, and Tireless Blade, which means that the powered sword kills grant sword ammo. For this weapon, there was nothing really too special about it. I mean, it seemed like every other sword, so I'm kind of on the fence of whether or not I wanted to keep it just because it's very generic. There was nothing very special about it. The Hungry Edge perk does give the weapon 2 more ammo, and it makes it 30 instead of a 28, but it's still not so great that I felt like I should probably keep it. So the next weapon that I wanted to talk about was Lincoln Green. It has the perk Rapid Fire Frame, IS-5 Circle, Model 6 Loot, Mark 15 Lens, Steady Rounds, Allo Mag, Quick Draw, which makes it draw unbelievably fast. I didn't really notice that at all, but I mean, I didn't really pay attention to how fast I could draw the weapon out. So overall, this weapon was, I guess, okay. At first, when I first played with this weapon, I definitely hated it, like really bad. It's a pulse rifle, but it kind of feels like it's scath lock, but in pulses, because it fires very similarly. The Allo Mag perk has a faster reload when the gun is empty. This perk definitely is not a needed one for me because of the fact that I do reload so many times that it didn't benefit me to my specific playstyle. And the last scope I definitely enjoyed the most because it helped with my ability to make more accurate shots. So this one I felt like I'll keep for right now, but it's something I'll most likely be getting rid of later on. But I'm just going to keep it for now and see what other pulse rifles go up against it. The next weapon that I wanted to talk about was Call to Serve. This weapon has the perks Precision Frame, IS-5 Circle, Model 8 Red, Mark 15 Lens, Extended Mag, Apprehended Mag, Triple Tap, which the Triple Tap perk on it means rapidly landing precision hits will return 1 round to the magazine from the reserve. This one I am definitely deleting. I did not like this scout rifle at all. There was absolutely nothing that I liked about it. It fired so slowly, it was so low impact, and the triple tap was like nearly impossible for me to be able to accomplish because of the fact that the weapon fired just so slowly for me. Like, just overall, I will not ever use this weapon, and it's definite. I'm definitely getting rid of this weapon. The next weapon that I wanted to talk about was the Caresian Coordination, which is the fusion rifle for the EDZ. The perks on this were Rapid Fire Frame, Quick Draw IS, Red Dot ORS, Red Dot ORS1, Accelerated Coils, Iodized Battery, and Auto-Loading Holster, which means that when the weapon was in your holster, it would reload itself. This fusion rifle was very horrible. I hated it. It was very low impact and took so many shots to kill enemies. It's just, I personally cannot use this weapon, and that's definitely why this one's going to be one that I'm getting rid of. And I really have nothing much to say about it because of the fact that I just really did not like it. The next weapon that I wanted to talk about was Minimal Distance, which is the sidearm. The perks for Minimal Distance are Precision Frame, Control SAS, Short Spec SAS, Steady Rounds, Accuratized Rounds, and Opening Shot, which means improved accuracy and range on the opening shot of the weapon. This one I am also getting rid of because it was very slow firing, it had very low range. Although the Accuratized Round did add range to the weapon, it was just very, very average and wasn't very good, especially for being like a primary, like something I'm going to rely on to kill an enemy. It just wasn't happening. So that is why I'm getting rid of this weapon, and again, I apologize, really don't have much to say about it. And the very last weapon that I'm going to talk about is Bad News. It has Aggressive Frame perk, Steady Hand HCS, Sure Shot HCS, Flared Magwell, Steady Rounds, and the Moving Target perk, which for me meant that the more I moved around and aiming down the sights, the easier and more accurate it was to kill a target. Overall, this gun is not very special, it is not very good. Other than when you are moving, it is a pretty decent weapon. Right now, I will be keeping it, but I already know for sure that there is other hand cannons in this game that are better, so depending on the amount I have, I may or may not delete it later. As of right now, it is going to be staying in my collection. So overall, I decided that I will be getting rid of Complex Solution, Caresian, Call to Serve, and Minimal Distance. And so that's like 4 of the weapons that I've eliminated. And like I said before, I will be doing a part 2 if I pick up the couple other weapons that I believe are in this collection that I didn't have. But anyways, leave a comment down below if you like any of these weapons that I didn't like, or anything you want to discuss about the weapons, and maybe the perk setup was wrong or whatever. Anyways, other than that, I'll see you later.